So again, thank you so much for joining this session. This is a special session for the one whose visa has been denied, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about, that how you could learn about the 214B and can think about how you could fix this for the next time. Okay, so the part of this law is required that every person applying to get a visa should be considered as a person wanting to live in the US, say permanently. Okay, so the goal here is if you could just show the visa officer that you have no intention of studying in the US. So how the 214B came into the picture? So INA section 214B also found in the United States Code of 8 U.S.C. Every alien should be presumed to be an immigrant until he establishes to the satisfaction of the consular office at the time of application for a visa and the immigration officers at the time of application that he entitled to a non-immigrant status under the section. So what I'm going to tell you is the 214B is meant for the visa officer to think about. Yes. So these are the laws to protect the security in the US. In today's climate of terrorism and welfare programs given by the US, it is really important that you learn that what we need to speak and what not need to speak. So that's the explain and the hints that the visa official job at the embassy interviews to look at your paperwork, meet you in person or talk to over the phone in some country and decide if you are a real student. If you're a real student who can pay, who has an intention, after you study, you come back home. So what is going on around the world? That's what we need to learn today, that why the US officials are very much concerned about issuing the visa not to everyone but to some of them. Those some of them to the interview. So the basic thing which today is to learn that why they need an interview. Why do they need to talk to you about? Because in certain countries it's all your duty is to send the paper and you get the visa and you travel down the US, I mean sorry, the respective country. But in US, unlike others, they wanna see you in person, interview you to see that you are a serious student. Now the question arises that yes, so they saw me but they still did not get me the visa. What could be the reason? So we'll talk about it. Okay, so it is a part of the law of the US to protect the USA from the immigrant that may be undesirable. So if you want to become an immigrant, how about you apply to a permanent visas, green card, other things where you could be stay in the US for the longer period of time. So now we are talking about CVs. We are talking about the Student Exchange Visitor Program, ACVP. We are talking about the Immigration and the Nationality Act 214B. We are talking about how Department of Homeland Security want a student who is going for temporary visa is to talk about temporary things and then talk about coming back plans. What are the bigger problems? So many of my students really want to stay in the USA permanently. They are using studying as an excuse to begin the process of remaining in the US. This method is very possible later if you are actually a real student. So I don't mind whether you want to go and stay there permanently. That's your issue. That's your life. That's something which is to be figured out by you. But and the visa officer, as I said in my last webinar, that they've been trained for at least 3 to 5 years before they're sent to the place where they interview you. So what is the best thing which you need to learn today is that even if you are making an excuse, or even if you want to stay there for forever, let's be a real student and talk about what your visa's requirements are. Avoid 214B, student visa rejection. Good people and normal people are denied visa because they have some problem in their applicants, or in the way they describe the reason they want a visa to the US. But you never convince the visa officer that why you would be coming back, why you think that the education perspective of today's master's degree can change my life when I come back India. Honestly, if you are and if you read the blogs and discussion about F1, there are some cases where it is difficult to determine why the student was refused without more information. Many of the other students we can easily identify and understand why they got rejected. So what to know? Sometimes you figure out that the visa officer has told you that hey, your finance do not look good, and you feel like, oh, okay, no problem, so I'll come up with the finance. But most of the time you really feel like that you have no reason. Somebody, your student who has done a good job, who deserves the visa, did not get it, and we never know the reason. So the best thing is to ask them to write everything down, and let's come up with what could be the reason of rejection. Until and unless you don't have it, you can never get the visa for the next time too. So the 214B rejection, can you recover and reapply for another interview after you get a 214B rejection? So students here, you have been given a 214B rejection, and that's a default rejection. Even if you have been not been able to show the sufficient funding, you have a 214B. Even if you have not convinced the visa officer about coming back plan, you have a 214B. Even if you had the sufficient funding, but you, while showing the bank statement, you could not find your one of the bank statement of $20,000, and your visa has been denied, 214B. But can you reapply? Yes, but it will be different. How? How it will be different the next time? So if you do the same thing, you will be rejected again. So what do you think is a visa officer is looking in you now? So whoever you are, whatever you did at the time of interview, your visa has been denied. That means you did not meet the visa standard. Now you are going again, and if you are telling that I'm the same person with the same profile, he'll say the result is going to be the same. I rejected you last time. I am rejecting you this time too. So what should a student, research and know about it? So this morning I read about the student who got rejected on websites, and that post student comments. So I've been reading today even before giving, because this was the special session I was doing. So I wanted to know that, what's going on around the market. Okay. So almost 70% got rejected for obvious reason. They said something different than their I-20s form. They could not speak English very well, or they were telling a lie. So over the internet, I found that there are many who admitted that yes, I did not go with the proper documents, or I did show up them fake documents, or somebody who was think that I couldn't speak English. Okay. And most of the time students talk about something else than what is there mentioned over the I-20 or the DS-116. So this is what we need to figure out, that let your student talk exactly about what exactly you're going to do, what exactly is the information has been given to you. So you cannot stay longer than it says, you can do something different than it says, say what the I-20 says. You must be a serious and an honest student with your intention. So if a student who does not even know that what I have mentioned in the I-20, the visa officer know that somebody else helped this person to fill the DS-160, Or a student has come even not even reading the I-20 copy. That looks like, nah, you have been rejected just because you are not neither an honest nor a serious student. So don't get rejected. Prepare and try your best to pass it the first time. So you gotta make sure that the one of the biggest thing is you have to be relevant with whatever the information is there. You have to be an honest. You have to be serious. You gotta tell them. You gotta convince them they're gonna come back home. If you do this, you get it at the first time. If you don't get it, well, you don't get it. If you get rejected, immediately write down everything said and try to figure out why. If I know what the visa officer said exactly, usually I can understand. So if your visa has been denied, give us the report of the entire visa transcripts so that we could tell you that one or the two things your visa could be denied. Have additional documents and letter explaining this additional information. So, have you had a gap years between studying? Talk about it because it could be a cause of your rejection because you have not been doing anything. So, if a student with a bachelor's degree is going to a master's degree of computer science but has a 2 year study gap and he was working with his father in a grocery shop, it looks very irrelevant. No reason he could be given the visa. So the last word, you will need to pass your F1 visa interview by honestly wanting to study, being able to pay, showing ties to your home country. So you gotta make sure that the 214B is to be given to every student, no matter what could be the reason of rejection. But you could reapply because that's not the permanent eligibility. In my last webinar, I compared this with climbing a tree versus going for visa interview for the one more time. So students feel like after rejection that, oh my gosh, I should never try this country now. But we have seen it just that you showed your visa has been denied and you were thought, let me go one more time. And you go and you get it. Okay? I, I'm gonna ask you questions about it. But let me tell you that I finished this webinar in just about 20 minutes. And it's one of the smallest webinar I did. But that's just for the visa refusal students. When your visa has been denied, you gotta do this. The last words that you gotta come up with the better preparation. You gotta change your profile. You gotta tell the visa officer. I have seen in the recent days when a student has attended the visa interview, their visa has been denied. Now we have two type of people, one with a good profile, one with a okay profile. But I am seeing that one with the okay profile are getting the visas, one of the good profile aren't getting the visas. And mostly in overall we are hearing this that most of the visa embassies are nowadays or probably this fall has been rejecting the visas. Reason being, it could be anything, it could be election, it could be something else. But my recommendation to every student is to review your profile, take all that new information, and boom, go one more time. That is it. If you make it, you get it. You get it, you go to the US and you study there. Okay, question. So my bank statement is 2 months old so that I can show a new bank statement. You could show the bank statement of old 2 months as well as a new bank statement so that you have a better history of it. How can you change your profile? That's a very good question. Now, what are the ways? And that's what I'm going to aid in my next presentation for you guys. that what are the ways you could change your profile, because that's very important. If you don't change, you don't get. However, I'm bringing an immigration lawyer for you in the next webinar, going to be in the next week any day, but it would be on the US time, so I'll make sure that either it could be in your early morning or late night. It could be 7, 8, 9. How can you change your profile? So first of all, you do not need to change your profile, but you need to know the reason of rejection. If you know the reason of rejection, it could be one, two, three. These are the reason my visa has been denied. You just change that. So the first step is to find out. Now second is that something which you were unable to find out, that it could be for something. It could be just that I could not convince. Then you can change your profile by doing one thing. You do this, that you look for the new options available for you. If by that time you have gotten an offer letter from a better university, you change your university. If no university has gotten you the new acceptance, that's okay, don't change the university, but change what you did not know last time about the university. Change, if your visa has been denied, change your financial documents and get a new bank statement with another $15,000. If you have visa been denied just because you could not convince visa officer, why would you be coming back? Because last time you said, my well, I'll get a good job in India because India has a good openings, but you were just talking to them in air. But you say, hey, this time I have a new information, I've changed my profile by getting a report which talks about where I would be hiring. Then you say that, see, I have 5 years of experience after my BBA. I worked in this field as an assistant manager. I want to be a project manager. And when I search about the same industry, I've got 10,000 jobs available. And even I've learned some blogs, and I have a copy if you want to have a look, which talks about that US people are more hired in the US than Indian or any other country. You have to convince them. Just like I told in my last interview, okay? I mean, last webinar, that a student with 20 backlogs, who was pretty much good with communication, has gotten a visa. When a visa officer did ask about it, the interviewee, the student, talks about, well, yes, honestly, I have a 20 backlogs because I was not good at the academics during that time. But while I was getting too many backlogs in my bachelor's degree, I did work on some project, and one of them was telemedicine, where I did talk about how a doctor could be connected from an urban to a rural, so that I provided a better services for the ones who are in the rural areas and not able to get the high facilities. And that's what he said. And he has that major project with him. He showed it to the visa officer. Visa officers looked at it, and it's immediately after that, I'm approving you the visa. Reason, because he has come up with something that has just changed the visa officer's mind towards that person. So why don't you bring and change your profile by doing something which looks like, I can tell you this, in a day, if there are 5,000 students who attend the visa interview, you all 5,000 can get the visa, because they are there to sit, they are there to give, they are there to offer you the visa. It's just that whether you are trying to tell them what they want to listen or not. So my recommendation to every student is, no matter whether you have a 5 band, 290 GRE, no GRE, no experience, a good university, a private university, a small or a big, it does not matter at all. It's something which you do is what you do. And if you just show them, convince them, because see, thousands of students are going there. They're talking to thousands of students a day. If you do the same, you also become very proficient in knowing whether I should give him a visa or not. So the problem is not that why a visa officer is not offering me the visa. It's just that you are not researching and preparing a good thing. And that's why your visa is being denied. And that's why it will be denying again if you don't do a best job. And I did communicate about this with one of the former visa officer that just like H1, do you think that for F1 also there is a quota where only 1 lakh or 2 lakh students can study in the US and others if they are applying they won't get it? Honestly, there is no visa quota for F1 students. The more wanna go, the more can get there. But again, you guys need to know this that hey, what I'm speaking to the visa officer about. Mirror, fr- I mean, stand in the front of mirror and talk to yourself that the way you're going to answer, and then you yourself decide that whether your visa has to be given or not. The answer will come from inside. If you cannot speak English, if you have not appeared for anything, if you have not researched, and if you did not even had a chance to look at your I-20, that your program length is what, how much is the book cost, how much is the insurance, am I getting a scholarship, what is the second page talks about. If you do not even do this, do you think that you deserve a visa? That's a US visa. You do not, because if you stand in the front of mirror, ask a question and answer yourself, and then you later yourself decide whether you should be given a visa, or you say hey, I think I don't deserve because I didn't study about it. So all the students who gets the visa thinking about it, I've heard that generally sometimes when they apply for US visa, you think like, hey, how about I go and my dad has already done a puja, a worship in a temple, so probably I'll get it because Pandit ji talked about it that I'll get it for sure. And you do this and you just consider yourself as a brilliant student because there is a puja happen in your house or in temple. And I'm telling you, that's one thing that most of the visa has been denied because you never ever prepared about it, and you will not get in future as well, I'm telling you honestly. So if you want to get it, you prepared in a way that a visa officer right after three questions ask you and tell you hey, you'll get a visa, you got the visa. A student of mine who got the visa yesterday for MBA, and I discuss about it, and I wanted her to be here today, but because her phone is switched off, I wanted her to share the experience over here. But she was answering a night before also. She was just because hesitate about it, was telling me the story. I'm just telling you, see, three question has been asked to her. That's it. So visa officer could even decide in this three question whether to give you the visa or not to give you the visa. It's just that how do you prepare? Sir, in previous interview I said to visa officer that my father is a government principal and this time I have my father is a junior assistant to visa officer. And okay, and I said my father is junior assistant to his officer. Said you have lied to previous officer. I said yes, officer, and rejected me. Is there any chance of me getting visa next time? And I want to get a permanent US. I want to get a permanently US visa, and I have booked visa appointment on August 10. Rohit, let's talk one on one because I did not get your answer honestly, but something which I did understand. If anybody who lied are still trying to either hide or not to tell the truth, you still not get it. If by any chance you did any mistake, it was intentionally or unintentionally. Let's talk about this to the visa officer. Tell the visa officer, I did lie. I'm sorry. Please pardon me. I didn't mean it, but I did. But mistake is mistake. But I'm here to improve it from today. And you would get it next time. As you said that tell visa officer your details, but they are not giving chance to tell me anything. What to do? So, very good question. And I'll cover this right now. How can you manage your second year fees? Today my brother rejected and visa officer asked this question. Okay, good. So let me just take this question, and for all of you it is very important to listen. As you said that tell visa officer your details, but they are not giving a chance to tell anything. What to do? Yes, this is happening. This is happening to most of my students as well. And it's not only to my students, it could be for anybody's student. This is happening this year. That on a second or third attempt, they're not letting you speak. But let me tell you this. Did they ask you any question? First question, and what was your answer? If you could just write that down while I'm speaking about it, and I mean, just write this down here only. That the question was this, the answer was this. So what is happening is visa officers are every day getting the same huge number of applicants, and if they find that you are on a second time, third time, they are at least giving you a chance of speaking one question. And if you do not show in that one question that what did you get, you don't get it. So my recommendation to students like uh, Prathesh Thakur is, that's reality, that they're not giving you too much of time to talk about it, but how about if we tell everything which we have got this time in the very first question, because they might not give you the second chance to speak about it. But honestly, if they're going to learn this, they'll ask you the next question as well. So giving an example, a student has visa got denied, okay, and after I have checked the visa transcripts, I saw that hey, we all clearly said that you do not have a GRE. Why don't you go and write the GRE? And he has done it. Next time he's gone. What is his job to do then? So it's been asked again, why US? Well, I want to go to the US because, as I said last time as well, that US gives the better education system. It's flexible as well as advanced, and it gives me a better opportunities in India. So I've chosen about going to the US as well, and I have applied and thought of going to other university, but I get a good international exposure as well. So I thought US is the best option for me. Why this university? Again, the same answer. Who is in sponsoring me? Again, the same answer. After three, denied. But what he did, that last time when he denied, he's been told by the visa officer that did you appear for GRE? Go and appear for GRE. He did appear for GRE, but did he talk about it? No. He's been gotten another denial. Why do you think that the visa officer is a god? He will remember student like you all the time. They just remember whatever is there on the DS. They just remember whatever is there on their database. That which consulate, which day, for which university you did appear last time, what did you say? If they have a special comment to make for you, they remember this much. And you feel like that they themselves going to ask you, well, I rejected you last time just because you do not have a GRE. Do you have a GRE this time? Yeah, I have. Yes, of course. You need to make sure that even if you've been asked only one question, you gotta hit a sixer on that first ball. If you do it, he gives you another chance of throwing one more ball to you, and you got a six on the next ball again. If you hit the two sixer, probably third, you'll get a man of the match, that your visa has been approved. So now what is this? This is something that, hi, I am applying for the second time. I've been denied my visa about 2 months back, but visa officer advised me to write the GRE. I have a GRE with me. I've got 301, but as I said last time, I'm also going for the US because it gives me the best exposure. Last time I did not have a GRE. This time I have a new information that I have a GRE and I'm going to the US. He'll ask you the next question because you did tell the visa officer about it in the very next question. Okay, how can you manage your second year fee? Students, if you, as I said this in my last interview, last webinar, if you have only 1 year of tuition fee, living expense, insurance, books, expenses, then you honestly talk to the visa officer about and prove them that who would be sending you the money later on. So if you have your mother, father working and earning 10 lakh, you show their bank statement, show their salary slip, and tell them that they are the ones who would be earning 10 lakh in the next month. They'll be paying me. For this year, you already have the bank statement, but you are bothered about the second year. So your family is earning 10 lakh, they'll earn this year 10 lakh, they'll save that 4 lakh. Again next year they'll earn 10 lakh, but 4 lakh initially they'll pay me 8 lakh. This is how you could produce. But what is the ideal situation? An ideal condition when you tell the visa officer, my overall cost for the 2 years is $54,000. I have $54,000. Sir, I don't take any bank loan, and my father annual income is 13 to 14 lakh, and my college fee is 34,000. Please tell me, how can I give this sum? See, your college fee is $34,000 and your dad is earning 13 to 14 lakh, but I want to know that how much is the bank statement you have as of today. So if you say that you got $34,000 of bank statement, then you are good to go, because you are showing the visa officer that you have a bank statement of equivalent 34K, and at the same time you are also showing them that you have 13 to 14 years. So let me just answer this one more time for you. Okay, and I'm wrapping up this as well. 214B is being given to the one who was not able to convince the visa officer about coming back plans. A 214 can be given to anybody else as well because he was lacking the finance or something. The job is, if you could come back home instead of feeling depressed, sad, cry, or sitting in a room not talking to your family, not eating food, the best thing you do all of this, but do this, that you sit down and try to remember, close your eyes, try to remember what was the question asked, try to memorize and imagine the same incidents which happened. What did you answer? Even a single word can change the definition of your answer. Send us, and let's find out yourself or with our help what could be the reason of rejection. If you know this, let's prepare them and go one more time. Now when it comes to finance, try to show the 2 years of living expense, 2 years of tuition fee. That's it. If you show this much today, your visa can never be rejected just because of finance. Now, if you cannot do that because it's coming to $96,000, $1 lakh, $86,000, then you do this, that you just give me, a year or a year and a half, the living as well as tuition, and a proof that your parents are earning 7 lakh, 10 lakh, 12 lakh, 13 lakh, something like that. That is it. You will get it. So students, make sure that you go with the new information, you change your profile while keeping the honesty, seriousness, sufficient funding as well as your home ties all together. That is it for today. Book your visa slot, get us the visa transcripts if you have not done so, and if you have sent us the visa transcripts, then ask to whomever you sent that I need a revert on it. You gotta tell me, you asked me to send you the VT, I've sent you the visa transcripts now, but if you're not telling me, what is the use of sending me visa transcripts? And I'll get back to you. If your visa transcripts has not arrived to me, I cannot answer this. So you make sure to whomever you're sending, you ask them 10 times that I need the answer on my VT, and I'll answer that for you. Thank you so much, students. I am very happy that you have come down today to listen to me on the visa denial. If your visa has been denied, it's a very common thing. It is happening to almost 1,000 students in a day. So just don't feel bruised. Feel good. Say no problem. I'm gonna make it next time. And when your visa get rejected, say, hey, visa officer, thank you so much. But can you still tell me how can I improve myself? If you could tell me one, two, three specific reasons, I'll come with the better profile next time. Okay? All the best. And if you want to talk to me one on one, let's do this. You contact your contact person at Study Metro and fix an appointment with me. I'm going to talk to you. Thank you and all the best for your next visa interview. Happy weekend. Enjoy.